Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Pop. And
Hello, Movie Pop. The dark side of fandom is a pathway to many sensibilities some consider to be unnatural.
It was the Emperor. Did you hear that, Lawrence?
Do it.
He's returning.
Oh my God! The dead speak. The Emperor is here, guys. All right, let's see if we can manage talking about our not spoiler-free. This is totally a spoiler review. We've got the Emperor here, for God's sake. Review of Star Wars. Our spoiler review for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Inside your head.
The hermetic logic of the plot is as impeccable as it is ridiculous. It's a drama crafted with robotic insularity for the consumption of viewers, being rendered robotic at each moment of the soullessly uniformed spectacle. Oh man, that's coming from the New Yorker guys, and still, we are looking at Rotten Tomatoes. The current score is 55% by critics, and critics, you got it right, and audiences at 86%. Lawrence,
that's like
my
30% because of Star Wars fans. Has to be.
Yeah.
Like, if you take off like 30% on that score, you have about what that movie is worth. I mean, because that movie, like, there's no heart, there's no story to this movie. Like, it's all just like a retcon of Last Jedi. It's not. I'm not saying the movie is awful, but we'll dive deeper into this. But you get what I'm saying. Like, this movie was okay. It wasn't that. It's not an 80%er. I'm sorry.
No, definitely not. And I like what you said. It wasn't that it was awful. And let's just start off right there, because I find it very interesting. And I had this thought last night because I saw it again in the best possible theater, the best possible format you could possibly imagine, guys. IMAX, 70 millimeter digital laser projection at AMC City Walk in Universal City. So I should have had my balls blown off. I should have been, pushed against the wall from just the sonic and visual awesomeness that is the concluding chapter of this saga. And still, I'm like, this movie sucks. Yep. And it's not even this. I'm way too impassioned at this moment. I'm watching this film for a second time, and this is going to be a second time review plus a spoiler review now that we have the wonderful, sexy Lawrence here. But unlike with The Last Jedi, where I was enraged from the beginning, intermittently throughout the film, with this film, I felt nothing. I wasn't pissed off. I wasn't amused or amazed. I was just neutral. I was like, okay, here's a plot beat I either expected or didn't expect.
I feel like I was waiting for the storyline to begin, and then the movie ended, and I'm like, where's the story? Where's the story? What happened? Did I fall asleep?
And
what? I didn't get it.
What's going on?
I didn't understand. It was.
I don't. It's such a complex issue to tackle.
I need to make this as clear as possible. The story for this trilogy is literally there are two. There's Kylo Ren and Rey. They get some friends along the way. They have some struggles similar to the original series. Like, he has basically the Darth Vader struggles, and then he kind of just follows the same footsteps as Darth Vader, and that is the plot of the movie. Palpatine is still around.
Yeah.
They fly around doing fetch quests, all three movies, around the galaxy.
Fetch quests. Yeah, for MacGuffins. We never
really see anything about the people that are living in this galaxy. We don't hear any story about, like, the cities or anything like that. It's just them. The entire trilogy. There's like no heart and soul to this.
God.
There's just some people fight, and that's the series. Like, cool guys, great story.
Cool story, bro. And guys, like, you see clearly, I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt. This is one of my most.
I have.
This is one of my most like valued T-shirts that has one of the best memories of my life, watching the screening of Star Wars with a very special someone. this shirt means a lot to me. It holds emotional resonance. It ties into my love for the series. So I'm not a hater when it comes to Star Wars, guys. Not at all. But I'm calling it for what it is. And
we love Star Wars.
You know from my spoiler-free review how I feel. Lawrence, we know how you feel. I don't know if you want to elaborate on this before we start nitpicking
I wore my shirt to the Star Wars movie, to the Rise of Skywalker as well.
Wow.
But like I said, I have a poster up here, Star Wars. I'm a huge fan. These are like my favorite movies, These are my all-timers. So it sucks. It really sucks.
I want to let you talk more because I've had my spoiler-free review on this, Lawrence. If you want to cover some of the pros first of all.
So I think the action scenes are very good. Although I feel like the action needs to be supplemented by good story. I feel like the scenes that are in the movie, like the lightsaber battles and all that stuff, is good. Some scenes are good. The overall story, the reason we go to the movies is for the story, is not there. It's not present. It is not exciting. Did not engage me. But another thing, it's hard to say, is I feel like Rey in the end and Kylo are good characters, but they are the only good characters. They are not supplemented by good characters. I feel like one of the things that really makes Luke and Han Solo stand out is the supported characters around them. They have C-3PO, they have R2-D2, they have Leia, they have the Ewoks. Every character has like just so much life in the original series. Here it's like I don't give a fuck what happens to Poe and Finn, and they're not interesting. Like that's the problem. I know I'm throwing out like pros and cons, but I feel like every pro in this movie has a con that connects to it as well. That is the problem.
Oh my God! Yes, I'm so glad you said that because I was about to piggyback on that point.
That's all I got. So if you want to take it away, go ahead. I mean, that's the majority of my issues with the film.
All right, so to save time here, I'm going to, just go based off what you said. Some of the pros also, ironically, tie into the cons. Namely, the action and the CGI. It's all fantastic. It's all well executed.
Yeah,
so that's a pro. But then, similarly, it's also a con because the action and the CGI is just so bombastic and just so, like, fills up the screen with just so many things happening.
And you're like, well, I literally came to watch like a CGI, spectacle.
I'm being bombarded with a bunch of crap that has no emotional ties to the narrative. I don't care about what I'm seeing on screen, and even if I did, I don't think it's humanly possible for me to make out what the hell is going on at any one given time. I have no geography of any of the battles. I have no geography of where any person is situated. I'm emotionally detached. I'm visually detached. I'm just being fed a... okay.
No, I have issues also with particular scenes in the movies, and I hate to nitpick. I don't usually do this, but this movie, begs for it. Like, the scene where Finn is like, oh, they're taking down the array, and then he looks at the ship, and he's like, how do you know it's on there? I just know. How the fuck does he just know? Can you tell us something? Can you tell us why? And then Finn, when he's getting sucked into the sand...
Because is it the Force, which you're kind of alluding...
to.
Is it the Force? Is it kind of alluding to...
You can, dive deep into that. You can tell us why he's able to do that. It's not hard. I literally turned to...
Oh, no, but he has to be sunken under... He has to be sunken underneath a sand... Oh, God, what's it called?
Quicksand?
Quicksand before he has to tell the fact that he either loves Rey or has a Force ability, because it certainly can't be the fact that his Imperial knowledge. Because
it'd be like, why don't they never tell you what he was gonna say? Why are we left with these open-ended small plot points? Give us the fucking answer.
That's a story for another time. As Maz Kanata said,
movie. It's a story for its own fucking movie, apparently. What the hell,
right,
dude?
Which we won't get to, because we'll either fire the directors or just scrap the project altogether.
This doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, what is happening? At least, I was thinking in the movie, they could be like, Finn can just, hear Rey's voice in his head, and he's like, how can I do that? And then it would make sense. It'd be like, oh, maybe he's Force sensitive or something. And they have this special connection, and it's just a 2-second scene. How hard is it to do that, okay? I'm not... Yeah. I shouldn't be able to think of resolutions for these scenes on the spot, okay? That's all I'm saying. It's not hard. You watch your own movie and you're like, okay, this looks like shit. Maybe we should change it. That's all I'm going to say. Rant over.
No worries, no worries. Well, let me fuel or fan the flames of your rant, and let's move on to, I'm going to let you take this over before we close. Move on to our cons for the film, followed by your general impression.
Sure. Okay, so cons, obviously the main story of all three movies plus this one. Well, let's just say all three movies, the overarching story was not very interesting or exciting. Was not a huge fan. Also...
Yeah.
The story for this one,
convoluted and
I feel like
contrived.
The story for this one was actually good, but it wasn't good because like it was a good story. It could have been a good story, but they spent so much time course correcting The Last Jedi that it took it down. Is the problem. So you have this, you're left with this story that is like kind of good, but not really good because it wasn't fully fleshed out, and so it's just awful. Really, at the end of the day. It's like, what the fuck, man? So, yeah. That's pretty much it. Like, so let me just review. Story, overarching story sucked. This movie's story did too much course correcting. A lot of characters you don't really care about, unfortunately. I mean, honestly, Chewie is the only character I really was interested in. Even Lando was like, why is he here? Oh, I'm just happy to be at this party in the middle of nowhere, and you guys just found me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Characters, supporting characters.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I felt like it was... It's unfortunate, very forgettable, and not because JJ didn't set us up with some very fantastic characters and some very interesting, I felt like, plot elements from The Force Awakens, but obviously there was no through line in terms of where the resolution would be, so it was convoluted, it was a mess. There was ultimately no point. We know Palpatine was not supposed to be in this final chapter.
Officially in every movie.
Ian McDiarmid himself admits that. So what the hell was the point? What was the story? Why did I watch this? It didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel natural. It felt forced. A disappointing conclusion that I want to touch upon one point we mentioned in the Weekly Weekender, our most recent broadcast today, the 28th of November, where you said you preferred this film over Last Jedi, where in fact, I hated Last Jedi. But I much prefer it over this film because at least, despite my disagreement with where Rian Johnson took it, at least it was original. At least it was coherent. He had a vision. He had a narrative. I didn't agree with it, but it made sense. And I prefer that film over this one. So with that, I'm going to have to say, again, 2.5 out of 5 bags of popcorn. That's a 50%. This is a stinker, in my opinion. Or it's not a stinker. I think below 2.5 is a stinker. But still, damn near close to stinking like crap.
And I'm going to have to give it a 3 because I take it slightly above Last Jedi. The reason I give it a 3, I think, is because it did tie up a lot of storylines.
I think
one of the things that I enjoyed, like I liked about it, like we actually found out who Rey was. I was worried they were going to leave that as in, you're actually nobody. Ha! Good joke. And they didn't. They at least told you who she was. I feel like the plot was resolved, even though it was not very good. The plot was actually resolved, and I understood why, they actually tied up who Snoke was, and who, Palpatine and how he's involved and all that stuff. I mean, it did tie up the story, thank God.
Stupid, though.
Very stupid, I agree.
It tied it up, but it was very loosely done.
It's horrible, but it did finish.
Lawrence,
so.
I don't think that we are mistaken.
Oh, Lawrence and DJ, I believe it is you who is mistaken about a great many things.
Oh my God.
I want to watch him in the movie. I don't want to watch him again.
Wow. Jeez. Palpatine, thank you so much for interrupting us once more. You know what, Lawrence? I think we just have to cut this clean, man. Give me your score and let's just close this bad boy out before Palpatine comes back.
This is 3 bags of popcorn on me. I'm sorry if he comes back and he has to strike me down, but that's what I got to give
it. All right, guys. Well, hey, you had it from us both here, and we are not mistaken in our reviews. 2.5 for myself, 3 bags of popcorn for Lawrence out of 5. The Rise of Skywalker, it's a certified suck bag. But hey, listen, we want to hear more from you. Make sure to stick around till the end of this video because we've got a review coming up for Uncut Gems, my spoiler-free review. And of course, follow us on social media because we want to hear your sexy thoughts. You can find us on Instagram at MoviePopOfficial and of course on Twitter at RealMoviePop.
And as always, guys, make sure you like, subscribe,
Hello, movie pop fans. Make sure to hit subscribe and click like if you think this video is a pathway to the dark side of the Force. Palpatine out.
All right, Lawrence. Man, yeah, you know what? Why don't you just close it out, even though Palpatine
Make
tried
sure
to.
you just like, subscribe. We gotta get out of here, guys. This is too much of a mess. Hey, thanks for watching our review. Catch you next time.
May the Force be with you.